Imagine waking up on a Sunday morning. It's 7:55 a.m., the sun is just coming up, the smell of breakfast is in the air. You're probably thinking about nothing more stressful than what you're going to do with your day off. That's exactly what thousands of American sailors and soldiers were doing on December 7th, 1941, on a quiet island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean called Oahu, Hawaii. And then, everything exploded. Within just 2 hours, over 2,400 Americans were dead. 18 warships were sunk or damaged. Nearly 200 aircraft were destroyed. And the United States, which had been sitting on the sidelines of World War II, was about to be thrown headfirst into the deadliest conflict in human history. This is the story of Pearl Harbor. And trust me, it's one you're not going to forget. To really understand Pearl Harbor, we've got to zoom out a little bit. It's the late 1930s, and the world is already on fire. In Europe, Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany are bulldozing through country after country. In Asia, Japan has been waging a brutal war in China for years, invading, occupying, and expanding its empire at a terrifying pace. Now, the United States, we weren't technically at war with anyone. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was doing everything he could to help Britain and China from behind the scenes. But a huge chunk of Americans wanted absolutely nothing to do with another world war. They remembered World War I. They remembered the death and the heartbreak. They said never again. But Japan had other plans. Japan needed oil, steel, rubber, resources to keep their war machine running, and the US had cut off their oil supply as punishment for Japan's aggression in Asia. Japan saw that as a threat to their survival, and they decided the best move was to strike first. For months, Japan had been planning something huge in total secrecy. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, one of the most brilliant military minds of his era, came up with a bold, almost crazy idea. Take out the U.S. Pacific Fleet before America even knows what hit them. The target? Pearl Harbor Naval Base in Hawaii, home to the most powerful American ships in the Pacific. Here's the thing though, Yamamoto wasn't totally confident about this plan. He reportedly said something along the lines of, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant." He knew America had the potential to outproduce and overwhelm Japan, but his military leaders pressed on anyway. A fleet of 6 aircraft carriers carrying over 350 planes quietly sailed across the Pacific Ocean under radio silence. No one saw them coming. On the morning of December 7th, they positioned themselves about 230 miles north of Oahu and launched their attack. It was a Sunday morning. Most guys were still in their bunks. Some were eating breakfast. Some were getting ready for church. It was supposed to be a day of rest. At 7:53 a.m., the first wave of Japanese planes, torpedo bombers, dive bombers, fighter jets, screamed over the mountains of Oahu and descended on Pearl Harbor. The chaos was immediate. Explosions rocked the harbor. Ships that were lined up side by side, a place they actually called Battleship Row, were hit with torpedo after torpedo. The USS Arizona was struck by a bomb that ignited over 1 million pounds of gunpowder. The explosion was so massive, so violent, that the ship sank in just 9 minutes. Over 1,100 men went down with it. And let me put that in perspective. 1,177 men trapped in a ship at the bottom of the harbor. Many of their remains are still there today. A second wave hit about an hour later. By the time it was all over, around 9:55 a.m., the damage was staggering. 2,403 Americans killed, 1,178 more wounded. 8 battleships hit. The USS Oklahoma capsized. Airfields across the island were destroyed before American planes could even get off the ground. It was one of the most devastating surprise attacks in military history. News of the attack spread across America like wildfire. People heard it on the radio. Families gathered around their sets in shock. The whole country stopped. The next day, December 8th, 1941, President Roosevelt stood before Congress, and he delivered one of the most famous speeches in American history. He called December 7th, 1941, and I'm quoting him here, "a date which will live in infamy." Congress declared war on Japan within the hour. 3 days later, Germany and Italy, Japan's allies, declared war on the United States. Just like that, America was in World War II, on both sides of the world. And something incredible happened. All the arguments about whether America should get involved, they basically stopped overnight. The country united in a way that's honestly hard to imagine today. Men lined up around the block to enlist, factories started running 24/7, women entered the workforce in massive numbers. Everybody was doing their part. That sleeping giant Yamamoto warned about, it woke up hard. Pearl Harbor didn't just change America's role in World War II, it changed America, period. The attack exposed serious gaps in U.S. military intelligence and preparedness. It reshaped how America thought about national security. And honestly, you can draw a straight line from Pearl Harbor to the way the U.S. military operates today. But there's also a darker chapter in this story that we have to talk about. In the fear and chaos that followed the attack, the U.S. government forcibly relocated over 120,000 Japanese Americans into internment camps. Most of them were American citizens. They lost their homes, their businesses, their freedom, not because of anything they did, but because of their ancestry. It was one of the most shameful violations of civil rights in modern American history, and it's a reminder of what fear and prejudice can lead to, even in a nation built on freedom. As for the war itself, America's entry turned the tide. By 1945, the Allied forces had defeated both Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. The world was reshaped, the United Nations was formed, and the United States emerged as a global superpower. The USS Arizona Memorial sits in Pearl Harbor to this day. Oil still slowly seeps from the sunken ship, what some people call the tears of the Arizona. Over 1 million visitors come every year to pay their respects. Pearl Harbor is more than a military event. It's a story about how a single morning, 2 hours of absolute devastation can permanently change the course of history. It's about the people who lost their lives before they even knew they were under attack. The survivors who carried those memories for the rest of their lives, the families who never got their loved ones back. And it's a reminder, maybe more than ever, that history isn't just something in a textbook. It's real. It happened to real people, and the choices made in moments of crisis echo for generations. Never forget. Thanks for watching. If this hit you the way it hit me when I first learned about it, share it. And if there's another moment in history you want us to break down, drop it in the comments. We'll see you next time.